SEACC-SF, Sustainability Through Knowledge. Yes, we can.
Through the development of partnerships with various universities, environmental organizations, environmental student movements, academics, and so forth, SEACC-SF has developed and is still developing an important network within which there lies a great abundance of knowledge. It is by tapping into this knowledge that SEACC-SF aims to embody the SEACC slogan of sustainability through knowledge and action. And in order to promote access to this knowledge, SEACC-SF has created and is developing a Knowledge Commons. I recently developed a prototype online platform for the Knowledge Commons, which works as an interactive interface where users can read up or contribute to archives, discussions, and polls, and forms a platform for sharing models, projects, research, and articles related to environmental issues. Knowledge is crucial if we are to tackle issues of climate change and other environmental issues, and thus SEACC-SF aims to play an important role as a knowledge provider.
One of the SEACC-SF projects planned for next year is organizing a conference parallel to COP17, whereby all student-run climate change organizations from universities around the world meet before COP17, and we pledge our support to fight climate change. The aim of this is to show that students and the youth are the future leaders of tomorrow, and that we need to pledge our support to change the world, otherwise nothing's really going to get done.
The Eastern Cape is home to some of South Africa's poorest communities. Many of these communities rely on the interaction with the land and the environment and with nature. And this is anything from agriculture to game ranching, marine resources. And a lot of these communities are vulnerable to the effects of climate change. So we, as SEACC-SF, are in a position to help these communities mitigate the effects of climate change, as well as provide for sustainable solutions. We have located a town called Hamburg, which is in between East London and Port Alfred, and we are hoping to develop a few projects there to help in sustainable living. We will be providing them hopefully with their own water source, pumping water with what's known as a small-scale wind turbine. This will provide them with water and hopefully also generate electricity for the AIDS clinic in the area. This will hopefully also revitalize their vegetable garden, which is somewhat diminished. We will hopefully provide them also with certain seedlings that we can plant vegetables there. We also would like to develop clay stoves, which are more wood efficient. They will use 50% less wood, and also it generates most of the smoke out of the huts, so it's healthier. And finally, there will also be an educational component where we will teach people about sustainable living. We'll teach kids and hold workshops with kids. And we hopefully, at the end of this, Hamburg will be a model that we can use towards COP17, as well as hopefully have this model in other towns in the Eastern Cape.
Spekboom has been lauded as a miracle plant for its ability to sequester large amounts of carbon in a relatively short period of time. In a 30-year time frame, a hectare of spekboom is possible to sequester between 120 and 250 tons of carbon, which is equivalent to large tropical forests. In the eastern and parts of the Western Cape, there are just under 2 million degraded hectares of spekboom, and potential for restoration exists here. Restoration brings with it a lot of benefits, including job creation, rural job creation, watershed restoration, and biodiversity conservation.
WildReach, Wildlife Outreach, is a conservation initiative that will start out as a project under the SEACC-SF umbrella in 2011. The greater aim of WildReach is to foster a valuable relationship between student volunteers and local communities in which knowledge is shared and applied in an effort to promote social and environmental sustainability through wildlife conservation. In short, WildReach is about empowering local communities through conservation education. What WildReach realizes is that success in any conservation effort, whether it's directed at an endangered species or a tropical rainforest, depends on the social and economic security of the people who live directly in its shadow.
SEACC-SF at Rhodes University is planning to organise a climate concert at the beginning of next year, so as to bring climate issues to the forefront of student consciousness in 2011. We are looking into artists such as Zebra and Giraffe, A King, and Taxi Violence, working mainly with Southern Pulse. By leading up to the event with a protest against climate change and giving the event a theme such as the Rock Against Climate Change, we aim to remove climate issues from the dry, rasping voice of a lecturer, bring them into the sphere of the youth and what is relevant to them.
The United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Conference of the Parties will be happening next year in South Africa. SEACC-SF hopes to take a contingent of students through to show international politicians the power of tomorrow's leaders in determining sustainable solutions to climate change problems.